The legacy of Darth Plagueis the Wise is far more wide-reaching and dubious than many might initially believe on the surface. While he has no physical presence throughout the era of the Clone Wars nor beyond, the products of his experiments and the legacy he left behind have continued to guide and influence the decisions made by even the most notorious Sith Lords following long after his death. So despite being the master of his master, one of the most powerful Darksiders ever, actually know about the individual who trained Darth Sidious. What did he think of this Elder Sith acolyte, and how did the legacy of Darth Plagueis directly influence Darth Vader's life even beyond his seduction to the dark side and fall to the Sith? What were Darth Vader's thoughts on Plagueis' ability to create life, and the secrets that Darth Sidious would never teach him? Well, today, students of the Force and acolytes of the galaxy, welcome back to another holocron opening, and let's dive into what Vader knew about Darth Plagueis and some of the misconceptions that he had about his predecessor, which were later cleared up. The first time Vader hears the name of the Elder Sith, he is told the legend behind how he died shortly before succumbing to the power of the dark side. What's important to note here is that Darth Sidious never actually reveals that he is referring to his own master, and he frames the story as a Sith legend that has no discernible time frame. According to Palpatine's version of events, it could have theoretically taken place hundreds or even thousands of years ago, far before anyone in the modern galaxy has risen to prominence, and there was no reason for Anakin to ever suspect that this story might have taken place at the point in the Republic's era, or even recent history within his own lifetime. For all Anakin knew, Palpatine could have been referring to an ancient Sith Lord who may have not even existed at all, not referencing an event that happened less than 20 years ago, right in the Jedi Order's own backyard of Coruscant. And this ambiguity was vital in Darth Sidious's plan to convert Anakin to an agent of evil. What this meant is that Anakin couldn't even be sure that Plagueis existed in the first place, and this might have been a myth peddled around for centuries by the Sith, losing truth and substantiated evidence as time went on. This helps to add a layer of mystery and intangibility, seeing if Anakin would take the bait and become curious enough of his own accord to verify what Palpatine had claimed. But as Anakin would come to find out, this legend was verifiably true. Palpatine needed Anakin to come to him for the answers, and telling him outright that this was a true story and a fact might have deterred Anakin from ever coming to him and becoming more curious. In between hearing the legend and turning to Darth Vader, Anakin had to learn to rely on faith, seeing as there were no concrete way of knowing whether or not this was truly a power that the dark side held. Given how the Jedi Order had pushed him further and further from the light, however, he began to see this legend as his only alternative. So then, did Darth Vader ever come to find out that Plagueis was not only real, but was the mentor to his very own master? Surprisingly enough, Darth Vader did in fact come to learn the full story of Darth Plagueis the Wise, but only after being entombed in his iconic life-preserving suit of Durasteel armor. After giving himself over to the dark side, Darth Sidious was far more open to expanding Vader's teachings and knowledge, allowing him to learn more about his own past and his own training as their lessons continued in the early days of the Empire. Although this is not to suggest that Darth Sidious was not still secretive with his apprentice. As Vader served and trained under the Emperor, however, he learned about the full story, even leaving him to wonder if Sidious might have learned this ability from himself. We can see this in the finale of the latest Darth Vader comic run, published by Marvel Comics and expanding the new Disney canon. In the final issue, Vader experiences a Force vision wherein Palpatine is standing behind an already pregnant Shmi Skywalker, reciting a variation of what was said in Revenge of the Sith. While many have taken this to mean that Palpatine is Anakin's father, this was not confirmed, and many have been taking this as a metaphorical interpretation, as is normal within Force vision. What it did do, however, was get Vader to question whether or not Palpatine had learned the secret to manifesting life itself by using the Force, and what that might mean for his future as a Sith Lord. This meant that the Sith could potentially artificially create armies of Force-sensitive individuals, thrusting the galaxy into absolute chaos, and ripping the fabric of civilization to shreds. It also meant that Palpatine might have actually cracked the secret to immortality, which became evident in the rise of Skywalker. As far as Vader's own personal motivations, however, he did not have any more reason to seek the power of immortality or to learn how to manipulate the life forces of living creatures. His only motivation now was to save the life of his late wife, Padme. and now that she was gone, he had no inclination to learn the secret to immortality. He certainly would not have used it on himself, as he was one of the most miserable individuals in the galaxy, living in constant physical and mental agony, only exacerbated by the loss of everything he had ever loved. Vader eventually and truly wanted to die. For most of his time as a Sith Lord, he couldn't ever be 100% sure that Plagueis had actually learned the secret to immortality, but he also couldn't be certain that Palpatine wasn't lying either. This put Vader in a precarious position between belief and doubt, prodding his already secretive master as to whether or not he could truly manipulate the life forces by using the midichlorians. His vision at the end of this comic run, however, only served to deepen his confusion and muddy his already unclear take on the situation. His vision seemed to indicate that he was truly the product of immaculate conception via the way of the Force, and furthermore, that Palpatine himself may have been responsible, hinting to Vader that either Plagueis had figured it out, or had made enough progress for Palpatine to finish his late master's research and finally achieve his goal. In Legends continuity, it is revealed that Darth Sidious has told Vader extremely little about Darth Plagueis, with Darth Vader becoming more obsessed with other aspects of the Force and the galaxy around him, such as dominating the Jedi and becoming as powerful as possible, hunting down his former masters in Yoda, but more specifically Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that for nearly 2 decades, Darth Vader has been told extremely little about Darth Plagueis. However, he does know that he was in fact the master of Sidious. It is also revealed that Darth Sidious spoke little of Plagueis to his other apprentices, including Maul as well as Dooku. Dooku, who did know that Darth Plagueis was his former master, but other than that, knew next to nothing. It was also confirmed, though, that Darth Sidious never revealed the writings of Darth Plagueis in the Book of the Sith to Darth Vader, perhaps because he wanted to keep as much knowledge for himself, or perhaps because Darth Sidious believed that this knowledge was not worthy for Darth Vader's eyes. Darth Sidious never desired for Vader or Dooku to ever be his replacement. Therefore, he did not see it necessary to share any more of the legend or tale of Darth Plagueis with either of them, keeping all of his master's learnings and advancements in the Force to himself. But anyway, my friends, what are your thoughts on this? And what are your thoughts on Darth Vader's thoughts on Darth Plagueis, and the fact that following the events of Revenge of the Sith, Darth Vader never really learns anything beyond Darth Plagueis and never really even pursues immortality following the death of Padme? Did you know this aspect of Star Wars lore before this video? And if not, what do you think Darth Vader would think if he had the full view of the story and legend of Plagueis? As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching and continuing to support the channel. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.